And on that, Labor are pushing ahead with their nature positive plan. It's got a beautiful sounding name, but this is the power to significantly curb all sorts of projects, mining, housing, just about any major development, including a new hospital, all in the name of environmental preservation. But Alex, many argue this is not what this legislation is really about, preserving nature. This might be a sweet-sounding name. What is this legislation about, and why should we be concerned about it?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, and we haven't seen an exposure draft yet. The best you can do at this stage is getting on the website and seeing a nice glossy brochure with koalas and trees and gum trees, and the name, Nature Positive. I mean, the left are so good at their marketing and their PR. I mean, we see this time after time, love is love, all the slogans are great, and of course the outcomes are not. So, look, we will wait to see, but it appears to be a fairly significant overhaul of the EPBC Act, the Environment Protection Biodiversity Conservation Act, in record time. This is what governments are doing now. Labor governments all across the country do this all the time, introduce large swathes of legislative instruments with a lot of regulatory control as well. I have to say, a lot of this gets done administratively in a lot of these bills. But what it actually looks like, we don't know yet because it hasn't been consulted. Industry are saying that. None of the mining companies have been told much about it. They're all complaining about this, and it seems to be building in the background. But let's be clear, what this looks like from the outside is yet another dalliance into the world of globalism by this Australia Last government. And, we need to be on top of this. We need to be ready to call it out for what it is. By the way, the Howard government in 1999 took 10 years to consult and talk about the original incarnation of the EPBC Act. This seems to be getting pushed through in a matter of months in the winter period. So we will wait to see, but it smells like trouble to me.
Now, just before you go, I want to bring to your attention what's happening in the UK. The BBC is being accused of scaremongering during COVID, reporting rare COVID deaths among healthy adults as the norm during the pandemic, and misrepresenting the true risk of coronavirus to help boost lockdown support. Now, this was revealed at a UK COVID inquiry. If we ever had a proper inquiry here, a Royal Commission, I'm sure pretty much every media outlet in the country would be accused of this too, and with good reason. How are we going with that reckoning? Because it seems like a lot of people made some very reckless statements, pushed policies that were really harmful on a number of levels, and there has been really next to no accountability.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, a group of us have been pushing for a Royal Commission for some considerable time, a proper one, by the way. I mean, the Albanese government set up an inquiry which, is just clearly not going to do the job it needs to do. It just can't. So we want to see a Royal Commission. We want to see that done. I mean, the irony of this being, what's come of this has been this push for misinformation and disinformation laws, and yet most of the mainstream media were responsible for most of the misinformation and disinformation, as it turned out, and no one questioned the narrative. So here we are, and this is why this was a very significant period in Australian history. A lot of people were hurt, a lot of people were harmed for a whole range of reasons, and I will continue to say it as long as I'm here. We need a Royal Commission. It needs to be a proper, excuse the expression, root and branch. Look, I hate it, but I had to use it because I couldn't think of anything else. And look into where we're up to. And, for the good of the nation, that needs to happen. And it's got to be a serious fair income one, not just a frolic in the COVID wilderness.
Senator Alex Antic, thank you so much for your time this evening.